Hey witches, if you are enjoying Waking Up the Witch, then you're definitely going to want to check out my magical shop, Moonbee's Wellness in Medford, Oregon. We have a curated collection of crystals, incense, sage, witchy books, tarot, oracle, and so much magic made locally here in the Rogue Valley. Whether you're just beginning your witchy path or you've been on this journey for quite a while, we have so many items to support where you are in your journey. And we ship anywhere in the US, so no need to be local. But Moonbees is more than just a shop. We are also a sacred space and supportive to your healing journey. I'm a Reiki master, and I also offer a lot of intuitive sessions, including past life readings and past life regression sessions. And all of this can be done virtually online, so I can help you no matter where you're at. Come visit us in Southern Oregon or follow Moonbees Wellness on Instagram and Moonbees_Medford on TikTok. And remember, magic's this way.
This episode of Waking Up the Witch is brought to you by Taylor Pickett Styles. I'm Taylor Pickett, and I am an intuitive hairstylist in Southern Oregon. I offer in-person services as well as online tutorials on how to care for your curly hair, how to properly shampoo your hair. If you're a hairstylist, I offer lots of education and one-on-one consulting on how to build your clientele and take care of your clients. If you're interested in any of these services, please reach out to me. There will be a link in the bio. I also offer organic hair care from Innocence Organic Beauty, and you can also buy that online through me, link in the bio, and also on my Instagram page, Taylor Pickett Styles. I also have a TikTok page if you're into just talking a little bit more deeply about things, going into deeper dives about hair care, self-love, and self-worth. My TikTok handle is Southern Oregon Curl. And don't forget, tame nothing, nourish everything. Enjoy this episode. I'm Taylor.
And I'm Amber.
And this is
Waking Up the Witch. We're your neighborhood witches. Each week, we talk about all things witchy and connect with other humans in a storytelling format about navigating life on this floating rock.
We're two curious ladies trying to understand the human experience. But while we do that, we think it's important to honor the people that lived here before us and honor the cultures and traditions that we're being inspired by.
This podcast is about waking up the witch, which means we are learning and growing every day. That being said, we are always open to feedback on how we can do better.
The views and opinions of our guests don't necessarily reflect the views and opinions of Waking Up the Witch. Now, let's go, ghouls.
Hi, Taylor.
Hey. My eyes are heavy. My child was kicking me in the back all night. Then she woke up and said, "Here's my Band-Aid." Just like in the middle of the night, clear as day. I'm like, go to fucking bed. Why do you have a Band-Aid?
She's in her Band-Aid era.
Well, her toenail was like ripped in half.
Oh,
no idea how. Dude.
Wild barefoot child.
Toddlerhood is crazy. She's turning into an absolute crazy person.
Yeah, she's wild.
No, it's getting crazier. Oh, I came here in the middle of the chaos the other day. It just kept going.
She owns the world.
She squeezed a smoothie in the back seat, like in a plastic cup, and then was rubbing it all over her body. And then what else did she ate a glow stick. I had to clean her mouth out and almost call poison control. She tried to wipe me. She wouldn't take off this butterfly shirt, so she showered in it. And there was like multiple other things. Oh, pooped in her underwear. It was just all day long. I'm like, this is why I decided to work less? Like, this is crazy. So we have a tour to daycare soon.
Oh, nice.
I just did that before we started recording.
That'll be exciting.
So we'll see.
Yeah, it'll be good socializing too.
Yeah.
Fuck yeah. I
But
love that.
luteal, tired.
Yeah.
We did moonlight magic,
Yeah.
and then I fell down.
Oh yeah.
I fell sideways off of a 3-foot fucking retaining wall at my house, scraped up my whole left side, fell onto my back. It was raining. I'm just like laying there on the ground in my white dress, like
Oh.
looking up at the sky. Kurt was trying to help me out. I was like, get the fuck away from me. And then I had all these little things in my hair,
Oh.
these nature things. And then I cried for like an hour and was like, I have to pack. And then I packed really weird and got up at 3 in the morning and went to Seattle for
36 hours.
overnight, 36 hours. Got home, was sick, didn't have anywhere to put my clients, chugged Dayquil for 2 days, worked through it. And then by Sunday, I just crashed and I slept for like 6 hours throughout the day and then fell asleep at night and slept all through the night.
That's good.
And I still have a little bit of a runny nose today,
Yeah.
and
I
so
got
does
sick
Goldie,
too.
but
All three of us got sick. Alicia did too.
yeah.
Right after our last Moonlight and Magic. I mean, it was cold outside and rainy and the stress and all of the everything and the nonstop. Not surprised at all that we got sick.
So yeah, and then I slept all that much, and then I woke up yesterday morning and I was like, man, I'm crabby as fuck. And then I looked at my calendar and I was like, first day of my luteal phase. That
Yeah.
checks out.
And luteal's like the longest.
Why is it so long?
It's
It's
like
like
10 days.
yeah, that's crazy. Well, I'm supposed to be fucking crabby for 10
Yeah.
days. Like, that's so crazy. And for me, like, I know some people, as soon as they start to bleed, they don't feel good. But, like, once the blood rushes out of me, it's like all of my anger leaves with it.
Uh-huh.
And I'm like, okay, like, I'm a little uncomfortable, but I'm not as, like, mad.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll get my progesterone.
Yeah. I'm
I have some at
excited
home. I
about
took,
that.
like, 1 pill last time she gave it to me, and then I stopped.
Yeah, it makes
Probably 'cause I
me
was breastfeeding.
curious too about what hormones I could be on right now.
Mhm.
Yeah, this conversation with our guest today was all about perimenopause. Well, not all about it, but it was a big part of our conversation. And I feel like I learned so much already, which I'm grateful for because I am of age where perimenopause usually is starting or right around the corner. So um, yeah, it was very interesting to learn about all of these things with our bodies and also rage about our medical system here in the US as
Mhm.
well as the patriarchal society we've
You
been
know
grown up,
us.
you
Always
know.
something to complain about the government.
It was a perfect classic Waking Up the Witch episode.
Mhm.
But feeling inspired and empowered and excited to check out her website and take her quiz. That's going to be
Mhm.
so eye-opening, I think, and helpful.
Yeah, for me, like, a lot of the women, like, mother figures that I have in my life all had hysterectomies, so I didn't really watch them go through, like,
Mm.
natural menopause or perimenopause or anything, so I think it'll all be, like, different for me.
Yeah, it's interesting because, like my poor sister, she got a lot of the inheritance of bad health from our dad's side of the family, which like the women over there are not well. And so she's already had a hysterectomy and just had like 2 or 3 years later recently just had a full hysterectomy where they ended up removing her ovaries too, which they
Yeah.
didn't do originally.
Mhm.
And so she's full blown menopause right now. And our mom
And she's younger than you?
yeah, she's younger than I am. And our mom totally went through menopause. And so it's just like interesting getting to witness both of those experiences. When I was home for Christmas, Melody was like having a heat flash and like went outside and was like shaking her shirt a bunch. And I'm like, girl, you are making your blood run its course through your body, making yourself hotter.
Breathe.
And I was like, just rest, just breathe, just feel into it, take some deep breaths. And I was like, here, no one's looking. And I like pulled up her shirt. It's like 10 o'clock at night. I'm just like, just feel that country air, that cool breeze. She's like, oh, yeah, you're right. And she's literally been in the medical field forever herself, too. And I'm like, don't go into action. You're going to get hotter.
Mhm.
You're not
Yeah,
helping yourself.
totally.
Yeah. So I'm really, yeah, I'm just grateful for today's conversation. And I can't wait to learn more and feel more supported in this phase of life
I can't
because we
believe
all
we have
deserve that.
to talk to another person.
Yeah, this is our Tuesdays now. We're double recording every Tuesday pretty much. So cool that we get to talk to some amazing people twice a day.
Yeah.
We're going to go eat some lunch before our next call, though. So we hope that you enjoy this episode. But before we leave you, please go visit us over on patreon.com/wakingupthewitch for all the other ways to hear from us and work with us and receive messages and magic from us and just to be in community.
It's going so good.
It's so good. We literally met
Oh my
Genevieve
god, yeah.
at Moonlight and Magic, and she's one of our patrons. She lives in Portland and drove down to like come be with us at Moonlight and Magic, and I was so excited. We got a cute picture with her. And then later I went up to Holly, my best friend, and was like, "Oh my god, someone from our Patreon is here." And I just started crying. I
We
like
have
lost my
28
shit.
members.
That's so exciting. I'm
That's
so
crazy.
grateful. It's growing. It's very intimate right now, so it's like a really good time to join because we're just hanging out. Our monthly manifestation co-creation call is
It's really
beautiful.
fun.
It's very intimate. And so like we just hang out for an hour and chat goals and magic and all the beauty. So anyways, if you are looking for more Waking Up the Witch content and magic, we do a lot over there. Go check it out. Patreon.com/wakingupthewitch.
Woo!
Enjoy this episode. Okay, so you can close your eyes if that feels good and if it's safe to do so. And we're just going to take 3 deep grounding breaths, breathing in through the nose and out through the mouth. So let's breathe in this fresh, new life force energy. Exhaling, releasing any to-dos or worries, allowing yourself to arrive in this moment. Another deep breath in. Exhale, feeling a little softer, grounding deeper into your body. And this last one, the biggest one you've had all day, breathe in. And release. Shake it out. We'd like to call in our spiritual guides and our ancestors and our higher selves, helping us to create this loving container for shared wisdom and connection. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Okay. Hello, hello. Welcome to Waking Up the Witch. Please introduce yourself. Tell us who you are and what you do. And if you happen to know your big 3 in astrology, we'd love to know your signs.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm Allison Lorne. I'm a nurse midwife and a witch from day one and lifetimes over.
Mm,
I'm a Aries sun, so it's been a wild ride. Yeah,
happy late birthday. How
thank
are you
you.
feeling? So much Aries energy.
So much Aries energy. I'm Aquarius rising and Libra moon.
Oh,
Yeah,
wonderful
and I don't have any
combination.
earth in my chart, which is always funny to me because I make up for it with like a lot of grounding.
Yeah, you'd have to.
Yeah, that self-awareness of bringing it back to the body again
Mhm.
and again and again, right? The body being, yeah, that portal between the physical and spiritual realms. Yeah.
Mhm.
So I love liminal spaces. I love working with transitions. Midwifery
Mm,
brought me
mhm.
into helping women birth in the birth room for 20 years. I delivered 1,500 babies while I was doing
Oh
deliveries.
my
So that's how
gosh.
big a number I'm
Wow.
seeing on the wall. Um,
That's
yeah,
incredible.
it's beautiful work and it's rich work and sacred transitions. I just finished Nikita Gill's book, Hecate. I'm not sure if you've seen it. It's
Uh-huh. Yeah.
absolutely beautiful.
Mhm.
Yeah, I've been working a lot with Hecate lately. Yeah, the crossroads and the triple goddess.
I feel like she's been calling
So
more
much.
witches in the past couple of years. I don't know if it's because I've been called to work with her and I'm just like noticing it more or what, but it's come up a lot on our podcast too recently. And we actually get to chat with a few authors of Hecate in the near future too, which will be really exciting to dive in. So if you're listening to this, she's calling you too. Answer
Good.
the call, pick up the phone.
Yeah, I think this maiden mother crone archetype and Hecate being able to hold all those three faces together and
Yeah.
the arc of women's lives and the journey that we go through in women's health and the
Mhm.
different gates that we pass through, these physiological transformations like menarche, our first bleed, and motherhood and menopause. Like Hecate is just the goddess that comes forward
Uh-huh.
more and more as I am making my practice deeper, serving women in this way that brings in more of the spiritual side of things. 25 years in healthcare in a system that's like a male
Ugh.
model, like the patriarchy is thick in
Yeah.
modern medicine. Graduating out of clinical healthcare and getting into a private practice where I'm serving people in this holistic model and bringing in so much more of the spirituality. Yeah, I feel like Hecate is just the one holding the keys. She's the one that's
Truly.
like holding the lantern. She's like, "Come follow me." And I'm like, "Yes, yeah, mama,
I
let's
know the
go."
way. I love that. Like, we just need that so much, and I really do feel like even in my lifetime, I've seen a lot of make matriarchy come into healthcare, and as I've grown and, being so disconnected from my own body until I was, like, in my mid-30s where I really was like, "Okay, this is your body. You should love her and know more about her." And yeah, I don't know if it's part of my own journey or if it's like we're just kind of talking about it more. There's more resources available, more connection. But I think it's really important. And I'm really grateful that you're someone out there bridging that gap for so many of us because we need money in women's healthcare and we need research and we need to be taught at a younger age what our bodies are doing because I think I was so afraid, like in my 20s especially, of my body and what it was doing because it wasn't quote unquote normal, you know? And then you're
There's
like,
so
great, I'm dying. Might as well just die,
no, you're
because
just a
it's
woman,
scary.
right?
Yeah, exactly. It's crazy.
There's so
Well,
much messaging around that that's
totally.
divorcing us from our bodies.
Yeah.
Yeah, the power of being a woman.
Mhm.
Like, there's so much in society that has tried to create separation
Mhm.
from knowing ourselves in that way and holding the capacity for really understanding how beautiful and powerful it is to be a woman. Yeah, so coming into that and honoring it, like we often have to go through yeah, a reclamation, a reconciliation of
Yeah.
wounding that's happened around the
Yeah.
womb,
Mhm.
whether it's abuse or internalized misogyny or sexism or
Mhm. All of the above.
abortion. In my case, what's that?
I said all of the above.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Right. Just loving ourselves and how sacred and holy and beautiful the womb is,
Yeah.
right? And how much power we have to literally create life. And also the evidence of that with the monthly bleed, like
Mhm.
how beautiful that really is.
Mhm.
And like undoing all the taboo around it,
Mhm.
like all that messaging that it's dirty and it should be hidden and
Yeah.
not shared, and how much men are left out of that conversation.
Yeah.
There's so
Absolutely.
much work to do there about restoring, the
Yeah.
sacred.
Let's start. We're doing
Yeah.
it. I know a lot of people who are.
I would love to go back to kind of the beginning of your life and hear your story and how you ended up in midwifery and then how that pushed you towards like how you're helping women today.
Yeah, I think what's beautiful is knowing that this isn't the first lifetime I've done this work.
Mhm.
It's in my cellular memory, it's in my DNA, and every time I've deepened my practice with my clinical skill set, I've gotten more affirmation that I already know on a deeper level what it is that I'm learning.
Just remembering.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. Um, I was born in LA in a fancy part of town in the Pacific Palisades, which sadly is no longer,
Mhm.
was lost in the fires a couple years ago and is being rebuilt, but was born into a very devout Catholic family and grew up across the street from the school, the Catholic school, the Catholic church, the convent, and the rectory.
Wow.
I was the middle of 5, and our household was actually, violent at times and rough and tumble, and as a middle kid, I often escaped to the convent, and I had my own little plate at the convent. I would knock on
Cute.
the door, and they'd say, "Oh, Allison's here," and I would have, like, Saturday morning breakfast with the nuns, and it was
Cute.
my go-to place to get quiet space and be in
Mm.
sisterhood, and it was my first introduction to spiritual community in sisterhood like that, and I just fell in love with being there, and I spent a lot of time there. I would pray so hard that I would shake in church.
Mm.
I wanted to be Jesus's wife, like,
Mm.
I went to bed with a crucifix above my bed, and I would, like, kiss his feet every night and, like, say the rosary, and I'd be like, "I would take such good care of you."
Oh my God.
So the spirit was strong in me, like, from the
Uh-huh.
beginning, and we were a very religious family, and I wrote a paper. I went to Catholic school, elementary school, and all-girls Catholic high school, and I wrote a paper on Wicca when I was 14 as a freshman in a
Oh,
world
wow.
religions class, and that's when I was really turned on to mysticism and
Mhm.
understanding that the divine lives within us, and accessing the divine is a practice open to any one of us, and that we don't need this intercessory figurehead of a priest or a church or an organization to get to God consciousness. And that's
How
really
did
when
that paper go over in school, at
it was
Catholic school?
yeah, I'm a really good student. So I got an A on the paper. Little did that teacher know that it was gonna start a whole lifetime of remembrance.
That's pretty incredible.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, so I just got I my witch identity came in early. Yeah, it really did. And yeah, from that point on, my feminist ideals started to come in more strongly also, and I
Mhm.
think that that was the trigger for, like, remembering, yeah, the power of being a woman. And then, my nursing career came out of the scientific mind and wanting to care and nurture, and that just was like, "Yes, this is the witch also."
Mm.
Getting into herbalism, getting into healing, and then going to midwifery school, it was like nurse, midwife, witch, right? Like,
Yeah.
it all came together. So it was like I'm saying, it was already, like, ahead of me, like, my life
Mhm.
was just sort of fulfilling this destiny. I'm getting chills.
Yeah, so beautiful.
Yeah, the first time I delivered a baby, like, my hands knew exactly what to do. Like, I
Oh,
didn't even understand how I knew what I was doing. So,
amazing.
yeah, it's felt really special, and now I lead a coven in our local area. We observe the witch's calendar, the wheel of the year. We celebrate all the high holy days. Beltane's coming up, and that's exciting.
Beltane's always
We gather
exciting.
What's that?
So Beltane's always exciting.
I know, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
Would you
sexy. Oh,
mind explaining,
Mm,
Beltane for our listeners if anyone isn't sure of what that means or even the holidays of
yeah.
witchcraft
and the
and
calendar
pageantry.
and all of
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, certainly. Right. So Gerald Gardner came up with the Wheel of the Year in the phase, right, when he came, like, branded Wicca, which is like a new version of witchcraft. Like, we
Mhm.
didn't have the organization of Wicca. It's kind of new to conceptualize it all like this, but the Wheel of the Year makes so much sense.
Mhm.
Split into the solstices and the equinoxes, right, which
Mhm.
create a cross when we put all of the months in a circle. So the solstices being in December and June, and the equinoxes being in September and April. May 1st is one of the cross quarters.
Mhm.
So we have the cross with the solstices and the equinoxes, and then just another other bisection of the cross, and you have 8 high holy days. The cross quarters being those in between the solstices and equinoxes.
The halfway
So
points.
Beltane is one of the cross quarters on May 1st. And this would be the time that the lambing season would start. This would be the time in agricultural communities where the fields were being blessed with symbols of fertility to help promote great harvest in the coming year. This might be a time that engagements were formed and marriages typically happening in June. The Beltane rituals, the fertility rites, the jumping over the bonfire to leave the past troubles of the year behind and stepping into this new year that started with spring equinox in April, right? And we're looking at how to nurture that sense of newness and virility and fertility, like in our day to day, in modern day, right? What does that look like for us as we try to bring that forward? And when I'm leading trance ceremonies in Beltane, it's often about a meditation on the beginning of a seed coming into that cotyledon stage and bursting through the hard shell of the seed and coming up through the soft earth and reaching towards the sun, like the
Mm.
beginning of our growth path. And
Mhm.
what is it that we're looking to nurture and looking to for the harvest coming in the late summer?
Obsessed. Okay,
So
this
cool.
is gonna come out closer to, like, summer solstice, so can you tell a tiny bit about that?
Solstice, summer solstice, so June 20th to 22nd, the longest day of the year and the shortest night of the year. A holiday that's really dedicated to the sun god and the male aspect of the year. So much celebration about the beginning of harvest. This is really where we're starting to see just the early parts of harvest coming in. So it's a very exciting time. You would think these were times that would mark great gatherings where there would be a lot of intersection of different cultural bands that might travel to come together at sacred sites like Stonehenge, right?
Mhm.
I just got back from Scotland, and
Ugh.
Kilmartin is an incredible area of standing stones where you're like, yeah, of course. People came to these places where they had like lined up stones to catch the sun and the ray
Yeah.
at that time of the year, that everything is designed around nature and around the cycles of nature and the seasons, and how important it is to be in touch with the earth.
Yeah.
Like, we are of the earth, and that path to recognizing our own divinity is when we realize we're one small piece of a huge tapestry of life.
Mhm. I love that. So
Amazing.
exciting.
I don't remember where you were in your life story
Well,
from that.
Solstice.
We took a
yeah,
tangent.
you were sharing that you are part of a coven
Mhm.
and what you're kind of doing with your own spirituality now. Are you practicing Wiccan?
Identify as Wiccan, but we
Uh-huh.
take a lot from the Wiccan tradition because it's
Mhm.
so well organized.
Yeah.
Yeah, but there's some issues with it being ethnocentric and some cultural
Mhm.
appropriation and
Totally.
colonialism. So, yeah, there's also a lot of hierarchy
Yeah.
and initiation in Wicca that we don't practice in our coven. Our coven's really a drop in basis. We have one regular lovely gentleman that comes and open to men. It's a lot of primarily women that come to the
Mhm.
events. our core group is probably 9 of us, and we sing, we pray for world peace, we pray for our own inner healing. We do trance drum journeys that are really brought into alignment with the holiday that we're gathering for. I teach a lot of classes like Witchcraft 101 and spell work, uh, manifestation work. And so the classes are a time when people come together also. And then we like have social events where we go to movies and stuff.
Cute.
We went to Salem last year for Samhain and had a retreat.
Wow, so
And
fun.
that was a 5-day
Goals.
retreat. That was so fantastic. Yeah. A lot of ceremony and just honoring the lineage of the witch trials and people that really stood up to say no to some terrible things that were happening. Yeah.
Wow. Immediately makes me get emotional.
So take us into your journey as a midwife and how that was for you, and then how it turned into what it is now.
Yeah, so it was a calling. I had an abortion when I was 17, and that was really, really difficult to
While you
come out
were in
of.
Catholic school?
Pretty much, like, I had just left to go to college, and I had been indoctrinated, and actually, like, watched late-term abortion videos, like, my dad
Mm.
had me watch one before I had left for college, and
Whoa. That's
yeah, so the
intense.
household I grew up in was, like, very
Yeah.
anti-abortion, very conservative Republican type of politics,
Mhm.
and my parents were, like, leaders in the Catholic Church, like, they were
Mhm.
knight and lady in the Catholic
Oh,
Church.
wow.
So I got pregnant. Like my boyfriend from home dropped me off at college, and I got pregnant the weekend that he
Oh,
dropped me
wow.
off. I
Of
wasn't
course.
ready, you know?
No.
Yeah, I just wasn't ready. And to be honest, I think I was really scared of just like the unknown.
Yeah.
Yeah, what life
So
would
young.
have looked like. Yeah, have it like being able to face my parents and like tell them that happened.
Yeah.
And
Then you were
it
about to
just
start
was really,
college.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
like
And
you probably
I
still
feel like
wanted to do that.
yeah, I had all these plans in place, right?
Mhm.
So, it was so I went through with the abortion and I think I shut down and kind of
Yeah.
compartmentalized in order to go through with it.
Fair. Yeah.
And so I didn't even tell anybody for like a couple years. And
Did your
um
boyfriend know?
he knew, he came up and he was with me, but it was like we never healed through it. Like we didn't come
Yeah.
through it. And the distance had kind of broken us up
Yeah.
anyway, because
Yeah.
it was like a 6-hour drive from where I lived at the time, and he was down in LA. Yeah, I'm pro-abortion. I worked at Planned
Mhm.
Parenthood for years. I am pro, choice. I'm pro women's sovereignty, but I also, do have, like, sorrow
Of
and
course. Of
grief around the
course.
God, you know? And I don't
Yeah.
wanna, like, say that we have to deny that reality in order to be pro-choice. It's like,
Yeah.
Totally.
yeah, it's
I'm sorry you
complex.
had to go through that alone, essentially,
Mm.
without support or anyone to lean on.
It's that hyper independent
Yeah.
personality that's like a
Yeah.
trauma response
Yep.
from childhood
I
wounding.
have that too. I relate.
If I had let people in, there were people that loved me that would have wanted to be there. My sister, who I told years later, told me that she had had an abortion that she hadn't told me.
Oh,
Oh,
I know.
and probably went through it alone too.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
sad.
I know. Well, so anyway, this is part of
Of course, sorry.
what deepened my commitment to
Mhm.
serving women, right? Like
so needed.
my Chiron is an Aries, which is like the wounded healer. And it's
Oh
like,
yeah.
just came up with a friend yesterday that every time I suffer, I feel like my suffering is in service to how I can help others.
Yeah, we believe that so much. We've definitely talked about that a lot of like what we go through is a big part of our purpose to help others go through similar things too, or to lead you to that greater purpose. Like you
Mhm.
really can turn pain into power.
And anyone that's a healer has had to heal from something on
Yeah.
their own.
Yeah, that's the alchemy work, right?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's like finding the meaning in it. And yeah, we're so much more informed as healers when we do
Mhm.
our own healing. Yeah.
Mhm.
And then there's these core wounds that like they don't ever totally heal. They like
Yeah.
come up again in different seasons of your life. And
Mhm.
especially these womb wounds, these
Uh-huh.
injuries to the feminine psyche. The work that I do now in perimenopause, so often I see that these wounds come up again because we're in that womb space. It's being stirred up. There's a lot of internal questioning about where your life's going, what your purpose is, what your identity is. Like perimenopause is so disruptive. The hormones are storming.
Mhm.
The psyche is being essentially completely rewired. And so many women come in feeling like they need to revisit old wounds and make
Mm.
sense of weaving them back into their identity in this expanded state. Like as we evolve, our wounds need to evolve with us.
Mhm.
And often it can feel daunting and scary and sad, but each time you go there you realize like there's a light at the end of the tunnel's a little closer. You
Yeah.
were able to get through it with a little more strategy. You had a little bit more sense of when to ask for help.
Mhm.
And then these core wounds become the part of your mission and purpose in life. And you realize, like, oh, this is the avenue I have to reach people, to share this and to be vulnerable and to open up for realizing there's so many of us that have similar experiences, right?
Yeah, that's why we do this podcast.
Yeah. So I think that to me, perimenopause is a word that women are just now using, and that for like a long time, women just suffered and then they like lost a period and then they were like, oh, that's menopause. And so,
Yeah.
can you explain to the listeners like what perimenopause is and around what ages that it typically starts? And I have more questions, but I'll write them down.
Yeah. The average age of menopause is around 52 years old in the US. And we see perimenopause 10 years plus or minus.
That's so long.
I know,
You're
right? So
joking
plus,
me.
some people are even in perimenopause longer, right?
As soon as I turned 40, I started like getting these hot flashes. I'm like, oh, I think it's starting.
Something's happening, right? It's an
Yeah,
ascension
something's
energy.
changing.
I know we're supposed to see the beauty in this. It's just a lot.
It is really beautiful. I mean, I found personally hot flashes to be a very sensual experience when I
Okay.
started getting into them and being like,
Reclaiming.
"Ooh, this is my body being activated. This is right. I can tell my estrogen's going bursting, right? It's like coming in flashes and bursting and it's wanting to come through the body like that. So how can I like lean into that and be in the experience of it and find the bliss of like what the
Okay.
body's offering in the
Mhm.
moment. Of course, like if you're like in a suit presenting a PowerPoint in
Oh
a
my god.
conference room, you're like, this is not a good time to like get into my sensual
Mhm.
feminine. But as much as it's available and possible in our mindset to flip that script around it
What is
being
physiologically like happening to your body?
it's like adolescence in reverse.
Mm.
So, and then also like that postpartum period is these are these gates, these physiological gates when our hormones are going through such incredible storms and surges and shifts. If you think about what adolescence was like, and that we had a lot of us had sex ed, a lot of us had
Mhm.
peers that were going through it. We had our moms or caregivers talking to us about it usually. There was more information about like your changing body and what to
Right.
expect. And we just don't have
We
that type
don't
of
have a
delivery.
sex ed for when you turn 40.
Exactly. Exactly.
That's why
And
you're here.
unfortunately, or what?
So that's why you're here.
The what we're seeing is that healthcare providers are not doing a good job of starting these conversations with women in their
No.
30s.
Well, because we're
My
getting 15 minutes with our
yeah.
doctor for quick, how you doing? Great. Here's your scripts. Bye. Like, it's
My
so crazy.
coworker's doctor just keeps trying to put her on birth control for her perimenopause symptoms. I feel like maybe that's not the answer.
I mean, they've been doing that since we started our periods too.
Maybe that's not the answer here.
Yeah, it's so interesting to think about pharmacology and managing women's health because, yeah, in the 80s and 90s, especially, so many women were being put on birth control.
Mm-hmm.
And then for managing everything, right? Just from more subtle menstrual disturbances to
Mm-hmm.
things like perimenstrual mood
Mhm.
disorder and
Mm-hmm.
more severe bleeding diagnoses. But then to graduate from birth control into hormone therapy of menopause, and it's like we're medicating women throughout our entire lives,
Yeah.
right? Like it's curious.
Control,
Um,
control, control.
Yeah, it's really interesting. I mean, I find that the highest benefit of that arc, if we're looking at longevity, is to, yes, use hormone therapy in menopause
Yeah.
because estrogen is going to help your brain function, your heart
Right.
function, your skin, your muscles, your bones. Every organ system in the body has estrogen receptors. And there's no herb, supplement, diet, lifestyle that can treat the system as completely as supplementing estrogen does when we're
Good
looking
to
at
know.
this longer lifespan. Like people
Mm-hmm.
used to die when they were in their
Yeah.
40s and 50s, and now
Mm-hmm.
we're adding another 40 years on. And you want to have a high quality of life. You want to have strong bones. You want to have a
Mm-hmm.
sound mind. You want to have strong muscles
Yep.
to prevent like all these other secondary aging uh, problems, right? So
Mm-hmm.
this the question then is like, are we over medicating young women?
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Choosing not only birth control but antidepressants too soon.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Mhm.
in your case, what we see is that progesterone is the first hormone that starts declining.
Mm-hmm.
So progesterone gives us restful sleep. It helps us feel calm and nested and nurtured. So when we see women coming in their mid late 30s and they're like, I'm depressed, I'm not sleeping, I have anxiety, and they're getting treated with antidepressants, my shtick.
Mm-hmm.
I actually have done that. They put me on like progesterone at the same time that they were giving me like an anxiety medication. And I figured out when I tried to take, after I had a baby and I tried to take the anxiety medication again, that it was actually the progesterone that had helped my depression and anxiety. And the anxiety meds made me more suicidal and had gave me insomnia and like all of these other things. And so, yeah, that's 100% what worked for me.
Yeah, well, good. I'm glad you had a provider that understood the role of progesterone and progesterone supplementation. Less than 5% of women in the country are on hormone therapy for menopause.
Oh my God.
Yeah, so I think it's like a real issue of undereducation in the population, but also in providers that aren't
Mm-hmm.
realizing and recognizing what these signs of progesterone decline can look like.
Is there like
So
a specialist or something that we should be going to who may be more specialized and educated in these things? Or is our hope as a collective that our general practitioner is going to take care of these things for us?
I know we're in a strange time, aren't we? Especially with healthcare
It's
access
so
because
hard.
it's so hard. And what's normal citizens supposed to do? Just educate themselves as if they're a doctor, right?
Yeah.
The American Menopause Society has a certification that they offer. There are certified menopause coaches.
Mm.
I'm a nurse midwife, of course, so I'm a
Mhm.
specialist in women's health.
Mhm.
You'll have more luck going to a nurse midwife, a women's healthcare nurse practitioner, or an OBGYN than family practice,
Mhm.
general practitioner. So a primary care provider could be any number of those types of providers.
Mhm.
And yeah, I would seek out a nurse midwife or women's healthcare nurse practitioner first, more because they usually have a little bit more time in their schedule. OBGYNs are awesome. They're often oriented towards pathology, right?
Mhm.
So you're going to get, like, generally speaking, a little more holistic approach when you're going to a nurse practitioner. Of course, there's crossover on both sides. You'll have very
Mhm.
medicalized nurse practitioners and very holistic OBGYNs. Yeah, I think it's about asking those questions, and that's why education is so important. That's why my coaching program is all about helping my clients find
Wonderful.
language to advocate for themselves, learn what kinds of labs to ask for,
Yeah.
to get their labs followed. So
That's the
often
hardest part. Like, it's so crazy just thinking about my own experience. Like, I was almost 35 before I was like, okay, I'm ready to like take care of my body the way I should have been taught to take care of my body, like, forever. And I'm going to my general practitioner and they order my labs and I'm like, I think I want to have a baby now, finally. And they're like, cool, everything looks great. And like no explanation or anything. I was like, cool, everything's fine. And then like I can't have a baby and no one's like ordering anything extra. I literally had to go to an acupuncturist who specializes in fertility before I had any like real labs done or any sort of ultrasound even to see if anything else was going on. Like, it's so frustrating. Like, I could cry, it's we're just not set up. Like, our mothers aren't set up, so they don't know how to set us up. Like, we're
And
just
both of our moms are nurses.
yeah, like they
Yeah.
work in the medical field and no one is like telling us what to do. And we're just like expected to trust the person that we're spending $350 on with insurance, like before anything else. And it's so maddening that, like, yeah, sorry. It's
Yeah.
frustrating. And like, thankfully, there's social media and thankfully there's podcasts and there's ways for us to like get connected and to share these stories with people and this information and this wisdom. But like, you still have to go hunt it down and find it yourself and hope
Mhm.
that you find someone reliable too. And it's so wild. And then to be 40, realizing like, oh yeah, my like no one has considered the female body in any of this
Ever.
research ever on anything, that it's like, well, no wonder. And like, I know it's changing, but it's like, it's just so frustrating to be here.
Yeah, it is. It's hard to be a younger woman in this time, realizing how that what the gap is
Yeah.
and that things haven't caught up and we're still
No.
behind and we're still trying to catch up.
Yeah.
And to be in looking at that fertility window
Yeah.
and feeling the reality, right, of yeah, I'm so sorry to be witnessing you struggle with this. It's this intersection between the onset of perimenopause
Right.
and concerns around fertility. It's a real
Yeah.
issue, and our lives, like, women are wanting to put off childbearing.
Mhm.
I mean, our poor society, like, things just feel so upside down, and there's
Yeah.
so much discord
Yeah.
between the masculine and the feminine, with
Yeah.
recent headlines just being so disturbing. It's, like, hard to
That's the thing too. I'm like, all these elder millennials going through perimenopause when all the pedophiles are being like exposed, like something's gonna change because we are all
Yes.
fired the fuck up and we're
Yeah.
just in the beginning. So, it's gonna create good change for the future, but
Yeah.
it's
I saw
crazy.
something about the Me Too too, like, the second
Yeah,
wave of Me Too
here
coming
we
through.
are.
Yeah, and I think this is how progress it's 2 steps
Right,
forward, 1 step back, 2 steps forward, 1 step, so it's like
right.
we're, gonna continually be fighting for advocating for a better world for ourselves and
Mhm.
for the daughters of the
Mhm.
world.
Mhm.
Every woman wants a better world for the daughters, whether or
Exactly.
not they're your biological daughters. It's like women want better for women.
Yeah.
We want more women in power. We want more women in executive decision making, in leadership. And yeah, if anybody, now I'm emotional. Anybody
Yeah.
listening to this podcast, it's like, get out, do the thing,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Like, get inspired. And however that is for you, like, we need people to be taking action. Like, apathy
100%.
is what's gonna bring us those steps back. And we need
Mhm.
constantly find the edge where we can like infiltrate the paradigm, flip the script, right? This is
Mhm.
now I'm like, yeah, we need
Yeah.
to flip the script.
Well, I don't feel like women have been this connected before in my lifetime. I think like when I was growing up, it was a lot of like pitting women against each other and like, oh, women are just catty or like whatever. But like
Mhm.
we're so like united as a force right now to be
Mhm.
like, no, fuck you, that I feel like we have more power than we've had in a really long time.
Yeah, I think you're right on target. The power is in unity, and
Mhm.
like it boggles my mind that feminism ever got a bad rap. It seemed like 10
Truly.
years ago people were like, "I don't want to be a feminist," and I was like, "I have always been a feminist. I've
Uh-huh.
always just been all about equality at the
Yeah.
least." And yeah, like I think the world probably would be better if we had even more women than just equality in
Totally.
power
Mhm.
making those decisions. But
I
let's just
didn't
work for
realize until 2020 that I was like, "Oh, I am a feminist." Like, I just never like, of course I am, but I never, like, claimed it because there is, like, this stigma or whatever, and growing up the way that I did, and I'm like, "Of course I'm a feminist." Like, I'm just having this grand awakening. That was 6 years ago. I was your age. Like,
Mm.
that's so crazy, and, like, of course, I was always practicing feminism, but I just never, like, realized. I'm like, "Fuck yeah, I'm a feminist."
I got in
Like,
a
that's
fight with
crazy.
somebody with one of my guy friends at a bar because I said I was a feminist. He's like, "You can't be one of the boys and a feminist." I'm like, "Yeah, the fuck I can," which now I would never be one of the boys. Ew. But back then I was like, "Yes, I am.
And boys should be feminists too.
I'm married
yeah,
to one."
You you were
100%.
on this earth because of a woman. Like,
Yeah.
come on.
Yeah, where do you think the stigma comes from? 'Cause I never understood it.
I don't get it either. I don't and, like, I wasn't necessarily, like, allergic to it even or was like, "Ew, gross. No, I'm not a feminism or feminist," but, like, I just never really thought about it so deeply to, like, label myself in any way, I guess. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I grew up in, like, a very diverse religious upbringing, mostly Catholic leaning, though, and so I think there's, like, a lot of that just, like, patriarchal society pushing women down in general and, like, being a woman, getting oppressed, like, in the real world, not really realizing, like, what that means, you
I
know?
mean, and like the shows like Bad Girls Club when I was growing up, and like all of these shows where it was just like women are crazy or women are stupid or they're just ditzy. And it was like all these roles that women who probably are really intelligent played to like minimize themselves to be accepted in a way,
Yeah.
which I feel like now somebody would call like a pick me
Mm,
type
mhm.
thing. But I think I think being a woman kind of used to have like a negative, like a more negative connotation, like, oh, you're not like other girls. It's like, yeah, the fuck I
Yeah.
am actually.
Mhm.
Like, that's not a compliment to me to say that.
Yeah, I'm so curious about it. I think it feels like there was a time maybe in the 90s or 2000s that it was like I think women were being placated.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, like they were being told that they didn't have it that bad. Or it
Yeah.
was like even saying that there's a pay gap
Mhm.
and that there's wage discrepancy and people being like, "What are you talking about?" It's like women
Yeah.
earn 81 cents on the dollar to every man.
Yeah.
Like
Super gaslit.
yeah. And it's like, if you don't see the problem, then you don't realize that you need to work for a solution.
Well,
Right.
I'm thinking that makes me think like because it was as recent as like the 70s that women could have their own credit cards or whatever, they were giving us scraps and being like, this is good enough. Be okay. We're giving you a little bit of something.
Yeah.
I mean, just the 18th Amendment, it's like not even those suffragettes, how
Mm.
hard they worked for women to get the vote.
Mm-hmm.
Um, when I was in England, I went to the Florence Nightingale Museum, and she's like one of our leaders,
Beautiful.
inspirational visionaries in nursing.
Mm-hmm.
And there was this incredible part of the exhibit where suffragettes in England were being jailed for protesting and going on hunger strikes and being force fed while in
Oh my
prison.
God.
God.
Yeah. And they had these pins that they would wear and they would add a month for each month that they had, yeah, been committed to their hunger strike.
Wow.
And it was chilling. It was, yeah, I just got chills again talking about it. You realize the sacrifices women made
Right.
for the gains that we have now. And then to hear any politician talking about repealing the 19th now, it's just like
Insane.
we've lost versus Wade.
Yeah.
We're losing healthcare access, like everything's
Yeah.
on the chopping block, SNAP benefits, right? Like
Mhm.
early childhood education. Like
Mhm.
there's so
And they're
much that,
complaining that teenagers aren't having babies anymore.
That was crazy.
yeah, it's I know it's a double-edged sword.
What is
On one
this
hand,
reality?
yeah, I just don't see like where society is going to go with women being more and more discouraged to
Mhm.
enter into marriage and to want to have
Mhm.
children because it's so hard.
Yeah.
And we're not well taken care of and we're not well supported. And yeah, this like utopic ideal of like women being in community with other women and being able to rise up and saying, who are the men that are the real allies? We
Mhm.
want you.
Mhm.
And we need men to take up the fight. We need
Mhm.
men to speak out. We need men to stand up. We need men to teach their sons. We need
Mhm.
like the example of the strong man to come in and stand with us. And I do believe that those men are out there. I believe that
Mhm.
they're everywhere.
I agree.
And it's like we need to be getting the messaging out. I think women do a great job of finding one another.
Mhm. Mhm. Yep.
Yeah, and I think we need to help promote men to also bond in these ways that they can organize and find unity in this like functional supportive role as well. This is our coven, Mystic Oak Coven in Atascadero. We have merch.
I love it. Beautiful. Okay, I love where this conversation's going, but I want to keep us on track and make sure that we have enough time for you to say all the things
Yeah.
that you wanted to say about like what you're doing in for women and perimenopause and transitions and the spirituality because I know that was something you wanted to talk about. So I know we could keep yapping like this for hours, but I want to make sure we use this platform for you to like spread your vision and your
Yes.
word too.
100%.
That's kind and generous of you. Thank you.
You're
Yeah.
welcome.
Also grateful you were a girl's girl on this side of history too.
Yes, it's like this flipping the script, right? We get
Mhm.
so much negative messaging around our bodies and loving our bodies. So, right, the troubles of perimenopause, how easy it is to like get together and want to commiserate over
Mhm.
symptomology. And I feel like
Yeah.
conversations will often fall down to the lowest common denominator. So, like, when somebody's like really harping on how hard it is, like, of course, we need to witness one another and validate one another's experience, but then we also need to strive for inspired mindset. Right. We
Mhm.
need to find a way to flip the script and shift that paradigm and say, how much of this is internalized misogyny, internalized ageism? How much
Mm,
of this is like beauty standards and body image
Mhm.
dysmorphia? Like, we are beautiful. Like, our bodies are beautiful. And the symptoms that we're experiencing, whether it's a sleeplessness from overactive mind, like rest is more important, anxiety, worry about the future, and fear and a sense of doom, like coming back into the presence and having mindfulness and connecting with the body, whether it's irritability and getting triggered easily, feminine rage. Why is the
Mhm.
rage coming in? Like, yes, there's a lot of reason to have rising feminine rage these days.
Mhm.
So, all these symptoms are really ways that our body is communicating to us, and coming back into the body with somatic practice and really understanding what it means to be embodied and opening to the experience of what our bodies are leading us into, being able to really find a willingness to have the experience and understand that these gates are huge transformational times in our lives. And if we didn't have these symptoms, we wouldn't understand that it was a big deal. We don't just go through adolescence and like wake up and
mhm,
go from like a 13-year-old to 18-year-old body
mhm.
Mhm.
transition, and it's marked by all these changes. And so in the same way, we have a transition that's marked by changes through perimenopause into menopause. And when we look at the crone and the archetype of the crone, she's beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
A woman in her power, this grandmother hypothesis that mammals that go through menopause are few. Like, we don't have that many documented
Oh.
mammals that go through menopause. And these are a species that hand down information, that have incredible roles in the caretaking and rearing of the younger generations. So reconceptualizing the elder as someone that's valuable, that has lived wisdom and experience and story, that feeds the generations that come after her, literally, right? And figuratively also. So elevating that archetype of the crone, and then rethinking, what do wrinkles mean? Wrinkles are beautiful. Like, it's
Mm-hmm.
an anti-aging industry, a capitalism that's like sold us all these products to line their pockets based on our own insecurity. But we know this when we look at different cultures where the pendulous breasts that are low hanging after breastfeeding multiple children is considered a higher mark of beauty than the prepubescent
Mm.
body. And like, we have it so flipped and switched around in the US. It's so gross what
It's so
Western,
ingrained.
Yeah.
yeah.
And so deep and generational.
Yeah, and it's like, it's old, right? We started seeing this with the rise of patriarchy, this hypersexualization
Yeah.
of the young female body, and this move away from realizing how beautiful and sacred and holy the elder is.
Mm-hmm.
Like, how much there is to learn, and also how much we need to take care of our elders. Elders
Mm-hmm.
are vulnerable. Aging brings us to a place where we become more dependent. And it's upon us. It's like our mark of a civilized society is how we take care of our vulnerable
Mm.
population.
Yeah.
Right. So, yeah, just like how we take care of our children is a mark of how civilized we are. It's also our elders.
Mm-hmm.
It's a strange society where elders are often put into nursing home and behind closed doors and not involved in public life as much.
Mm-hmm.
I always love seeing programs where they bring elders into preschools and they have that interface, or they take young kids to field trips to senior homes,
Mm-hmm.
because we need more of this intergenerational transmission of the joy and the wisdom coming in both directions. And then it takes the load off of the mothers
Yeah.
also, right? Like, to think of mothers coming into motherhood and being isolated. And it's such a setup for postpartum depression.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Like, here's your baby, figure it out all alone.
Yeah.
Which is so crazy. Yeah,
It's
my
like,
mom just moved here. I have a 2-year-old, and like I think about it so often, like how much it's helped her being around my daughter and how much it's changed my life. Like, she lives in an apartment below my house. It's just like the I'm gonna cry. The most like life-changing decision that any of us could have made is to like just proximity to each other.
that's so beautiful to hear. Yeah, how it's meant to be.
I know.
Totally how it's meant to be. Yeah, my coaching program, the Perimenopause Portal, has all these modules. We go over the signs and symptoms of perimenopause, strategies for treatment, including everything from herbs, supplement, diet, nutrition, lifestyle, and also hormone therapy, when to start, which kinds of hormones are right for you, where you're at in your journey, labs, what kind of labs we need to draw, and what kind of labs we should be following, especially if you're on hormones. That's a huge gap in modern care that I see, is that people are just started on hormones and there's no follow-up.
Mm.
There's no other hormone that we would give people, like insulin or thyroid hormone, and not be testing their blood to make sure that they're in a therapeutic range. And then
That's
we get
crazy.
into, yeah,
That's crazy to know that that's not something that's just a part of it.
yeah, and estrogen, progesterone, and testosterone should be
Mm-hmm.
included. We need all of those.
How does
I have a
someone
mod
find this?
at the Perimenopause Portal. Yeah,
Mhm.
healwithallison.com/perimenopause. Yeah. The healwithallison.com/quiz is the wise woman quiz to help you identify the voice of your inner wise woman. How does your intuition come to you? Like, what's the form of that information in your body? Do you feel it? Do you hear it? Like, looking at these different clairs and
Love
looking
that.
at the different elements. We're talking earth, air, fire, water, and ether, and a small little meditative practice that helps you connect with your wise woman through whatever element speaks to you the most.
I love that. That sounds wonderful. I can't wait to take it.
Yeah, bringing in the more spiritual component of the holistic health model, right? Body, mind, and spirit.
Mhm.
Yeah, so spiritually, we're talking about what is your purpose, your meaning. It's human nature to want to seek communion with something greater than ourselves. And even atheists, I believe, are it's a belief system, and it's
Mhm.
also about wanting to define that according to your own terms.
Mhm.
So, finding the mystical experience, accessing that, and cultivating a relationship with that internally, and then the mind piece of this, the stories that we come up with, our old wounds, and bringing that into the somatic practice and somatic awareness so that we can express that energy, finding gesture and posture and movement so that those stories don't just stay in the body and
Mm.
stay circulating in the mind without finding expression, right? We need to be able to move through life. And so often from an early age, we're taught to just sit still, be
Mhm.
quiet, and the mind is just like the Ouroboros, like the snake eating itself, right? Like,
Mhm.
we need to move. We need to interrupt old patterns and find new ways to respond to ourselves. Otherwise, we just keep on having the same repetitive day after day after day. Like,
Yeah.
growth comes from interrupting pattern. Growth comes from reaching past what you know into the unknown, and that's often scary. And so the program has a lot of individual self-paced modules and then the weekly calls where we dive into different aspects of the program. And it's a beautiful way to be in community with others and share story and move through the energy that feels like this transformation, this gate of becoming that's perimenopause. It is what you make it, right?
Mhm.
It's not just for us to like suffer through and take hormones because somebody said it was the right thing to do and not recognize it as a sacred rite of passage. We've lost so much of that in society. And I feel like this phase of my work is really about restoring the sacred and elevating the female experience in the woman's body as something that offers this incredible opportunity to reclaim our identity and set a course for who we want to be.
I
Yeah.
love that. That's so needed, and yeah, I'm excited because I'm on that threshold of change. So I'll definitely be looking into that myself for sure. I'm curious, like what was perimenopause like for you and like what led you to leaning into this work? I assume that's part of your own journey too.
It's like a totally embarrassing. It's pretty funny because this is part of my story is like
Yeah.
I didn't realize I was in perimenopause.
Mhm.
You
That's
know,
not embarrassing. That's like literally the whole world, all of the women around us, like that's our experience.
that's why I'm inspired to like preach
Yeah.
about it because I was working at Planned Parenthood, seeing like 25 patients a day, abortion care, 15-minute appointments, pap smears, just like cranking them out. Super stressful environment, walking through picket lines to get to work and
Yeah.
to get back to the car. A toxic relationship in that like empath narcissist axis that's so
Mm.
common.
Mhm.
Um, Drinking and partying to try to deal with stress, like poor
Mhm.
coping mechanisms.
Mhm.
And my anxiety was through the roof.
Mhm.
And I would wake up in the middle of the night screaming. Like, I would just wake up to myself sitting up in bed screaming. So it was like night terrors, anxiety. I had the medical director at a clinic I was working at offer me antidepressants.
Mm.
And I was like,
It's
this is
that
so
bad.
inappropriate.
Yeah.
And also, like, damn, I'm not being my best self.
Yeah. And you're
Right.
not masking or hiding it well enough either, which is what we've been
Exactly.
taught to do.
And that's part of perimenopause. The mask just breaks down. You're like,
Yeah.
I can't keep this up anymore.
Yeah.
Right. So it was a long process of unraveling, like getting out of that relationship,
Mhm.
realizing that I deserve better and turning to somatics.
Mhm.
Like my talk therapist turned me on to somatics because I'm like smart enough to talk myself out of like tight situations.
Right.
Like, I don't want to go there. But the body is always processing in the present moment.
Yeah.
And the body doesn't lie, right? So when you
Mhm.
tell a story and you feel activated, like your adrenaline's going, or you feel sad and you want to start crying, it's like the body is processing. So
Mhm.
when we turn to the body instead of the mind
Mhm.
to tackle these stories and untie the knots of like all the meaning we've placed on these stories, like your abuse meant that you weren't worthy,
Mhm.
or that you don't have value, or that you're not enough, or that you're unlovable. Finding like the self-agency and all of that and realizing this healing is quantum level healing.
Mhm.
And these are ancestral wounds that are handed
Mhm.
down to us. It's like every generation has to come through the up leveling of
Yep.
the collective psyche. This was like late to the game that I realized I was in perimenopause. It was like my continuing education credits. It's like the fact that I'm like always learning. It was like,
You're like in the field experiencing it.
yeah, it was like my scientific mind that led me to it. Right. It was just like, I'm always curious about what's going on in my body. And then it struck me like a ton of bricks. Like, oh my gosh, I could have started progesterone 10 years ago and I would have been able to go through this like so much more smoothly.
Mhm.
I would say that like all the struggle came to a very deep sense of expansion and learning, and devotion to my growth. But now I can recognize it sooner in others. And it's so easy to introduce the conversation and even just plant the seed as something to think about and
Yeah.
have on the radar and be aware of. So that in a year, 2, 3, 5 years, you're like, oh, and now it is making sense. Like it's
Yeah.
clicking into place. Like it is perimenopause. We're all going through perimenopause.
Mhm.
If you have ovaries, you're going to go through perimenopause. It's a party wave.
Mhm.
The sooner that we realize we're like all on a journey through perimenopause, it's just about where you're at on the
Mhm.
journey.
I
I think
saw a
it's like,
study like recently that women with ADHD go through perimenopause almost a decade earlier than some other women. Have you
I haven't
seen
seen
that?
that study, but it's kind of like all the mental energy tied up in ADHD, ADD, like
Mhm.
it kind of burns itself out, I imagine. Like it feels like that would track. It's just like ADD and ADHD, they're like, it's such a busy mind, right?
Mhm.
And that busy mind is like one of those first signs that we see in perimenopause, that anxiety.
I
Yeah,
wonder if
that's
there's
so.
a correlation because so I have ADHD and PMDD, and I'm
Mhm.
wondering if like you saying that makes me wonder if there's like a correlation between those
Mm.
two as well.
Mm. That's an interesting question. And you are on progesterone.
Not anymore, but I'm sitting here thinking I should go do my yearly blood draw. But I don't have health insurance because America, so I'll have
Mm.
to pay for that all out of pocket.
Mhm.
Yeah, I mean, it's there's ways to get the prescription called in, and then you just get the prescription once a year, and you can get on progesterone for the whole year.
Mhm.
So unfortunately, it's like that out of pocket cost up front.
I probably have some at my house that I just stopped taking. I just don't know if I should like do my blood first to see if I'm, in it.
I can't make like diagnoses and
Yeah.
care plans in
Totally.
this podcast, but I will say that you don't need a blood draw to know if you're low on progesterone.
Mm. Mhm.
Estrogen and progesterone, we just start based on symptoms.
Okay.
We want to draw the blood for estrogen to make sure you're in the therapeutic window once you start estrogen. But progesterone, you don't need to do a blood draw first.
Yeah, she gave it to me for my PMDD symptoms after I had the baby, but before it was like with anxiety and I think my blood and all the things.
Yeah, I think, thyroid's always the interesting one to follow
Yeah,
also.
mine's always fine. Everybody always is like, "Sounds like your thyroid," and they're always like, "It's not."
Mhm. And when we're looking at thyroid, we're also looking like TSH, free T3, free
Mhm.
T4. Like there's a few different tests in the profile of thyroid than just the single TSH test.
Mhm.
But yeah, it's complicated, right? Access is
Yeah.
an issue. Yeah. Yeah, access is an issue. But yeah, some of these things are like it's kind of it's difficult. It's like that's the reason I left
Yeah.
clinical healthcare. I worked with underserved populations and indigent care for most of my entire career. Um, and opening like a boutique private practice is so much more satisfying for me as a provider. It's like
Mhm.
the modern system doesn't serve the providers or the patients well.
Mhm. Mhm.
And so, yeah, I'm a fan of socialized medicine. I think that we
Yeah.
should greater
Oh
access.
my god, yeah.
Yeah, free healthcare for all. It's also the vertical integration of pharmaceuticals and pharmacies
Mhm.
and physicians and offices and clinics, right? So it's like United Healthcare and CVS are the two primary bodies that like lobby for drug testing, drug manufacturing, and are the ones that write prescriptions with
Mhm.
these providers that are under their umbrella in their clinics and then have to go to their pharmacies where
Mm.
they're negotiating the prices of these drugs. So it's like it's such a broken system. Like that all needs
Yeah.
to be like completely blown apart where
Let's
we
do
have
it.
competition. Yeah. It's
And
like the
soon,
idea of
please.
yeah, there's
Okay.
ways to make it work better.
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
know.
but,
It's a mess.
power to the people, right? We need people
Yes.
that are educated, that, right, are wanting to advocate, and some people are really interested in drug manufacturing and, like, get out there and start
Mhm.
advocating for change.
Mhm. We need it over here.
So, if there's anything else that you feel like you need to add, I feel like we'll kind of move on to our closeout.
It's been a wonderful conversation. We've gone all kinds of
I know, I
places.
love
I
it.
know. I want
This is
more.
good.
It's so good.
Yeah, I'd love for, anybody listening to pop on and take the quiz, the Wise Woman quiz, and find your inner wise woman, right? Like, this I think that's the takeaway is, like, finding that way to trust yourself and your own guidance, finding your own self-agency. Yeah, I think that is so important so that you know to trust somebody,
Yeah.
that you have a sense of whether the person that you're connecting with is listening to you, seeing you, honoring you, wants to work with you, and model a care plan that suits your personal desires and disposition.
Yeah, it's very important.
I just think like as you're saying that too, I'm like our grandmother's wisdom, our great grandmother's wisdom, like it's literally in our DNA too. That like the inner wise woman is not just like your inner wise woman, but it's your ancestral lineage too. Because we were in our grandmother's wombs when they were born, which is just the coolest fact ever. It's deep
Yeah, I
within
love that. Have
us.
you spoken to that before on the show?
I feel like it might have come up a long time ago once. Yeah, feel free to fill in the blank if anyone's like, "What does that mean?"
Yeah, as women, all of us women, we were eggs inside of our mother's ovaries when
Mhm.
our grandmothers were pregnant with our
Mhm.
mothers.
Yeah.
Yeah, so a woman is born with her ovaries full of eggs. So when our grandmothers were pregnant with our moms, we were already there.
Mhm.
We were inside of our grandmother's bodies,
So cool.
right? It's like a biological transmission of
Yeah.
wisdom. And then you start linking it that like our mothers were inside of their grandmother's bodies and our
Yeah.
mothers it's like it goes back
Yeah. We are
earliest.
held.
Yeah, that line
Magic.
established. It's complete and we can call on that.
Yeah.
I love
I
that you
love
brought
that.
that.
Yeah,
Mhm.
it just like just intuition of like the grandmothers. Like you talk about wise women, we talk about the elders, and it's like it's literally within us. We have our own elder, but then it's just so connected to our ancestors. Even if you don't have like the most loving, healthy relationship with your family, like you still have that spiritual connected wisdom that goes back so deep. And yeah, even toxic family members have some wisdom to hold, you know?
Yes. Yeah, and it's mining, right? Like, be a
Yeah.
miner. Like,
Yeah,
put on your miner's cap and go dig for that positive thread of wisdom.
exactly.
It's there, yeah.
Yeah. Sweet. Well, we have two questions that we love to ask all of our guests here on Waking Up the Witch. And our first one is, what is something that you do for self care that you just can't live without?
Yeah. I'm like, "Whoa." On and on and on. My favorite thing to do lately, I'll tell you, is, waking up, and I live out in the country. I'm on 5 acres in, like, wine country above Morro Bay and a couple hours north of Santa Barbara, California,
Oh,
and
beautiful.
yeah, it's beautiful.
We're not
The
very far.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
We're in
we're
Southern Oregon.
Fun. The dawn chorus, the bird song early
Mm.
in the morning. It's like our birds don't sing when there's predators nearby. So listening to bird song soothes our nervous system because
Mhm.
it's an instant message of safety. Yeah, so it decreases blood pressure and cortisol. It's been scientifically studied. So
I
waking up
love that.
early and going outside and listening to the birds has been my favorite thing for the last 3 or 4 months. Yeah.
Wow.
I love that. That is one of my favorite things to do too. I'll like keep my phone inside the house and just go sit on the front porch and just listen to the birds. It's very calming. I love that it's been scientifically studied to help lower blood pressure and cortisol.
Yeah, and I see the
Makes sense.
corvid. There you have a corvid behind you up on the wall?
It's a raven.
Yeah.
Mhm. Mhm. So
Lovely.
beautiful.
Okay, so if you could tell your younger self at any point one thing, what would it be?
That there are no mistakes.
Mm,
Yeah. Yeah, the abortion came up right away when you asked me that, and I
yeah.
just yeah, I want her to know that there's no wrong way to do anything, and that through all of it, it's about learning, and
Mhm.
it's about yeah, finding the meaning and finding the purpose and finding the connection.
Mhm.
Yeah. Yeah, for it's like forgiving ourselves for any pain that we caused ourselves because it
Mhm.
was all in purpose
Yes.
for our learning and expansion.
Yeah. Bring you where you are today.
Mhm.
I'm sure many people need that reminder too. So beautiful.
Well, we would be honored if you would pull a card for us.
I'm here shuffling them.
Yeah.
Oh,
Oh, jumper.
Ooh, fish.
okay.
Ooh.
This is Kim Kranz's deck, and I've pulled fish before, but let me look at the book just so that, we get it right. I'm, like, feeling into fish already, right?
Mhm.
Mhm.
Yeah. What does fish feel like? It feels like able to move through easily.
Water,
They travel in groups often, so collective, like connected energy,
Pisces energy.
spiritual energy in the water. Yes, I'm excited.
Restlessness,
Mm.
change of focus, which is like shifting the paradigm, like
Yeah.
flipping the script a little bit, lost in the current.
Mm,
The fish loves to be subsumed in life's current. Nothing pleases it more than movement, movement, and more movement. The roaming lifestyle of the fish may be exhilarating for a while, but usually leads to weariness and slippery relationships.
mm,
With all the possibilities out there in the vast waters, the fish becomes lost without clear goals and intentions. Spend some time with the lunar forces, dear fish, as the peace and calm of the moon will soothe your soul. When in balance, adaptable, travels well. When out of balance, distracted, changes mind often. To bring into balance, set a small goal and accomplish it.
mm.
Yeah, I feel like this kind of relates to the conversation of like hoping to inspire anybody to find a goal and set a goal and go for it.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's very much like our current
Wonder who
world.
that's about.
And I
Mhm.
think like that's, something we do talk a lot about is it's very overwhelming to think of the great grand picture of everything, and what that does is frees us, and then we don't do anything. And so, really like what can we do? What is one thing that you can do? And that starts with yourself and your community and starting to make those shifts and changes. Don't get stunned by the big picture. Choose one thing.
Sometimes going with the flow
Going with the flow.
is like gonna get you through a tough moment. Yeah.
That's perfect. Well, we have, you've shared your website. Is there anywhere else that people can find you or connect with you, or is that the best place?
My Instagram's pretty active. It's at Allison_Lorne, a CNM, ALLISON_LORNE_CNM for certified nurse midwife. And the Heal with Allison, ALLISON, yeah, healwithallison.com. Yeah, and I have a lot of local workshops that I offer here in Atascadero. And yeah, I'm really looking to reach more people. So please, share. Anybody listening, please share the podcast, spread the message. Yeah, let's get out there and uplift one another.
Yes.
Awesome.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. It's been such a pleasure.
Yeah, so fun.
This episode has been produced by my husband, Curtis Burgess.
Make sure to follow us on Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube at Waking Up the Witch.
And if you have any questions, comments, or concerns, please email us at wakingupthewitch@gmail.com.
And don't forget to head over to the link in our bio on Instagram for all the ways to connect with both Amber and Taylor. And go to moonbeeswellness.com for all your self-care and witchy news.
We love you. Bye.
Bye.
Ow.